Okay, this is our review for Zack Snyder's Justice League, or aka the Snyder Cut. Look, I'm here. I was brought here on the King Tide at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time this morning to watch this 4-hour tour de force. I guess I'll give my short-ish review, and then we'll get to yours, and then we'll just kind of go through our thoughts overall.
Before you do, what are your thoughts on the theatrical cut?
I think the theatrical cut, I just rewatched it, is fine. I think it's fine. I think it has, I mean, it's cut to all hell. It has scene jumps that drive me crazy. I'm like, yo, these are too many hard cuts. like it is clearly missing things, right? Like it's obvious.
Yeah. A little too many obvious, like, oh, that's obviously a reshoot, right? Like here's Aquaman standing in front of a white background.
Yeah.
That's obviously
like, this is not good, right? Like those things, I was not a fan of. I feel like when I saw it in theaters, I was much harder on it than I am now after seeing the theatrical cut the second time. I think it's fine. I don't think it's good. Fine does not mean good to me. Like it is not a movie I would rewatch. Like given free time. I think it is competently done. Like for switching directors and having to cut out a significant amount of information from 4 hours down to 2, it is fine. Before I get into my thoughts on the Snyder Cut, I'll save it for my thoughts on the differences. As far as the Snyder Cut is concerned, I thought it was fine. I think it is a better movie, like significantly better than the theatrical cut, without a doubt. That was not something I found surprising at all. It's a single person's vision. So it's not, it's shredded. Like the theatrical cut is just shredded. Like there's so many things just ripped out of it. But the Snyder cut fixes a lot of things, but it also creates a lot of new problems. And like it evened out to a 50% for me. That's my thing. Is like, I didn't hate it. I definitely am not going to watch it again. It's 4 hours. Like, no, like, dude, I have a hard time wanting to sit and watch Endgame, and that's 3 hours. And I love that movie. like it's too long for me to sit down, and watch it. But yeah, I thought it was fine. I don't think it's trash. I don't think it's some massive improvement that like changes the game. I certainly don't think it's a genre changing film, as some people have said, which I think is ludicrous. Rob Liefeld was one. Oh, this is the greatest thing I've ever. I was like, your bar is way too low. Also, we know you have a history against Marvel. I get it. But knock it off. We have eyes. The other thing is, the thing that I assumed about that movie, about the Snyder Cut, turned out to be true. It's not a wildly significant difference between it and the theatrical cut. It isn't. There is 2 hours less, but somehow all of the things that they cut, for the most part, weren't needed. They just weren't needed. It still was maybe a little overcut. Like, I feel like if it was 3 hours, you could have probably had a pretty good movie there. You would have had a better movie. I don't even know if it's good, because I think the core of the movie is flawed. Like, I don't know that any amount of cutting would have gotten around that, but certainly a better movie. Certainly moving closer to good than mediocre, which is what I thought it was. But we'll get into the details. So I thought it was fine.
I enjoyed the movie better than the theatrical cut. When I first saw the theatrical cut, I don't know if I'm usually pretty easy on movies, as it is. And the theatrical cut, I think, given the real world situation that everything surrounding that, coupled with my already me wanting to love everything that I see in the theater because like that's just how I am. I think I was not mad at it, right?
Right.
I was like, all right, this is probably as good as it's gonna get. I wasn't actively mad at it like Batman v Superman. That movie I'm actively mad at. Because the theatrical cut didn't really make sense when you think about it after seeing Batman v Superman.
Just a quick interjection. Did you watch the ultimate cut of
No,
BVS?
No, I've never watched the ultimate cut because I was so mad, and I'm just like, there's no way I'm going to watch this.
I did, by the way. It's better. It's better. Doesn't make it good. Doesn't make it good. It's better though.
That's what happened here.
Yeah,
this movie is better than the theatrical cut. Better in the sense that it tells a coherent story. And like I hate to like be a jerk about it, but like if that's the bar, right? Like
a coherent story.
A coherent story.
Congrats.
I mean, okay, I guess, but that shouldn't be the bar, right? Yeah. Like it's a simple story, and I don't mind simple stories if they're executed well. And this is not executed well.
Right.
It's executed, just not with any type of grace. You know what I mean? Like it tells a coherent story. I think it makes the previous movie, Batman v Superman, make a little bit more sense.
Sure.
And it gives Ray Fisher something to do, right? Which is, by the way, like that is 100% the reason why Ray Fisher is acting the way he's acting, because he shot 3 hours of movie footage and damn near all of it was cut in the theatrical cut. That's his beef with Warner Brothers. Don't let you are going to it's going to take a lot to convince me otherwise. That's his beef.
Because he's not giving any details, like he's mad because all his stuff got cut. I get it. I get being upset
because he's damn near the linchpin of the story. You know what I mean? Like he is way more significant in this cut than he was in the theatrical cut.
I'll give you that. I don't know that I would call him the linchpin, but I'll give you that point.
He's way more significant.
He's linchpin, more significant.
Maybe not, right? Superman is more the linchpin.
I don't even know what the linchpin is. I don't think anyone knows. I don't think Zack Snyder really knew. But go ahead.
So, but the movie does some things right. It elaborates on character motivation, right? Like Batman clearly feels guilt.
Yes.
And I see it a little better in this version than I do the previous version.
Mm-hmm.
Resurrecting Superman was explained a little better, right? In the theatrical cut, it was just like, yo, we got to drop this box in this water and then you got to touch it and then that's it. And they kind of elaborate a little more. I'm not saying that elaboration made sense, right? Because it's still a stupid comic book movie, but
right, they kind of like science-y yada yada it like a little bit, right? And I'm okay with that.
That's all I need, yo.
Yeah, just give me a little something.
Something. Yeah. I just need something, right?
Oh, you're transmogrifying his cells? Whatever. Who cares? It's fine. Like, just say something. Right, it's fine.
Whatever, right? Like you see, oh, well, this is what happened. Cyborg died. He touched a mother box. Now he's here. What if we can do that with Superman, right? That's the explanation.
Right. By the way, we're talking complete spoilers. Like
sorry.
No, the movie's been out since 2000, ticky tack, whatever. I don't know. Like, but yeah. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think they do a better job of retroactively like setting up Aquaman's movie, and maybe that's just hindsight. But I think his motivations in this movie kind of are they ease you into James Wan's Aquaman a little better.
Honestly, I will say this. Sorry to interrupt for a second because I just don't want to lose that thought because I don't know if we'll come back to it. I personally think Aquaman gets a better character development in this than Ray Fisher does. Even though Ray Fisher is in it way more, I think they spend more time in the lines that he's given are much more significant to the setup of Aquaman. You're right, but just showing his personality, like that he's more than just one note, like my man, right? Like they actually give him a couple lines where he's like, "I thought you said you didn't care." He's like, "I never said that." Right? Like they kind of give the meathead a little bit more, which I appreciate it because like I like Jason Momoa, man. Like, and I think Aquaman is a largely silly movie, but I actually enjoyed it for what it was.
I mean, I could have just pissed on it. Like,
I mean, there's a couple of moments I'm like, all right, come on, what is this dialogue?
All right, whatever. But yeah, I agree. I'm inclined to agree with you in that Cyborg. You know, the natural arc for Cyborg in this movie, in my opinion, should have been, you know, him finding his humanity. And he still kind of didn't, right? Like at the end, he was still kind of the same personality wise as he was at the end as he was in the beginning. He just like didn't hate his dad, right? Action scenes, look, Zack Snyder can shoot action, man. He can.
It looked great.
And for the most part,
most of it looked great. Most of it looked great.
For the most part, it looked pretty good. Steppenwolf, look, one, he's given something to do now, right? Like he has motivation, right? He's been exiled by Darkseid. He's trying to get back into Darkseid's good graces. That's why he's gathering these mother boxes. Like show don't tell, right? They told it in the first movie. They showed it in this cut, right? That's all I need. I don't need it's a movie about getting 3 MacGuffins. I don't need something intricate, but I do need something.
Right.
Steppenwolf, while I hate his design, he looked better.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense.
Looked like he belonged in the scene as opposed to like somebody put a Photoshop filter of a Steppenwolf that somebody drew with some chalk, and put it on the cell
with like a popsicle stick, like moving him around. Yeah, he definitely looked better. He looked sharper and cleaner, but he looked over busy. Like that was
the design is stupid.
Yeah, Snyder has this like weird thing of like over designing characters. Everything to do with Apocalypse was just over designed. And look, and I will say this, I did not like the images that I saw of Darkseid. Like in the, here's some images of what Darkseid's going to look like. You better look out. In the movie, it worked better. Like him moving around, it looked better. I wasn't too upset about that. But let's stick on the characters a little bit, like the Justice League characters a little bit more. Yeah, Batman was given much better as far as like, hey, I feel guilty about getting Bruce killed, getting Superman killed. So I appreciated that. Affleck looked better, where he looked he looked very unwell.
He looked tired.
He was going through alcoholism at the time, right? Like those reshoots are very obvious. I'm like, Affleck does not look good here. Like he just doesn't. He looked like he did in Triple Frontier. He didn't look like he wanted to be there. And here, this is clearly before all of that, I guess, or maybe very early in that. And he looked better. Like he just looked like he was having, I wouldn't say fun necessarily, but he looked like he was fine to be there. Right.
He looked like he showed up for work.
Right. He did not look that way in the theatrical cut. I was like, am I the only one seeing this? Like, I just didn't think he looked enthused to be there at all. So I appreciated seeing him actually look like happy to be working. Like, so that was good. Cause it showed through the role, right? Like he just felt lighter and things like that. I think it was really weird that as popular as Wonder Woman was, she was almost nothing but an afterthought unless it was a fight scene.
Yeah.
Like that was weird.
They gave her that little action scene and the action scene was cool and all, but
you're talking about the bank?
Yeah, the bank. Yeah. It was fine.
Where she murdered a guy in front of children. That was weird.
Yeah. See, here's the thing, right? Like, you got Wonder Woman, then you got this, then you got Wonder Woman 84. That character's all over the place, man. That character's all over the place.
Yeah. What are you doing? Super serious, defender of all that is, that all is good and, trying to save the world. BVS, she's like fighting an alien or, whatever. And that's like a badass thing. And then in this one, she's just murdering dudes in front of kids. So you're like, huh? What? Like, what is going, and then is, Donner style, like goofball nonsense, in 1984. Like, no, it didn't work. That part didn't work for me. You could have had that exact same scene, but it just blew the dude right out the window and he slammed into a cop car below. Like, that would have been fine, right? You didn't have to murder him. Snyder has always gotten, and this is not to say Patty Jenkins didn't too, but Snyder has always shown Wonder Woman move in a way that I like. Like physically, like in fights, she always looks pretty fucking solid. Like when she's fighting those bank robbers and she's kicking dudes into walls and shit, I was like, yeah, that's what you want to see. Like, you don't have to murder them, but she's a fucking titan, dude. She's a monster. Like, she should be kicking the shit out of these people.
Here's something that I really, when I saw it in the bank scene, I was like, yo, this is what needs to happen, right? When the terrorist has the hostages, he switches his gun to full auto,
right,
and busts off, right? At some points, at some points, he does the slowdown, like, oh, I gotta get the bullet, bang. But at some points, it's in real time. Right. And you see Wonder Woman just being quick as shit, right? Like you get a real good sense of what this character can do, like just pop, 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 right? Yeah. Just get deflecting all those bullets.
That's a great action sequence. Like it is.
Like, yo, this is really cool, man. Like I hope this sticks around, right? It does not.
For no reason.
We get later on into Zack Snyder, like his style, the same BS that we always get. What did you think of Superman? Since we're still on characters, what did you think of Superman?
Look, I'm a sucker for a great Superman moment. I am. I am. Look, when he came back, and like, I have a problem with the ending of this movie. Like a fundamental Superman love for that character, hate for a part of the end of this movie that really bothered me. But when he came back and he was in the black suit and he went to space and he was like, yo, he did the I'm Jesus moment. I was like, all right, now Superman, go whoop some ass. Like, that's all I want. That's all I want to see. Like, look, when you like, Alfred's line is so good. Like, if you're going to wave the red cape, make sure you can take down the bull. And then I love Batman's response. He's like, yeah, but this cape can charge. Like, fuck all that. It ain't no deflecting nonsense. We going to work with this dude. And I was like, yes, thank you. Like, the best part of Superman is that he is such a good guy that, like, the Hawkland version, like, he's a good guy. Hey, my mom made this suit for me. Like, you fly off. Kids love him, all that. But, like, when kids ain't looking, he can beat the brakes off somebody. And that's all I want. Ain't no kids around. Let me beat Steppenwolf within an inch of his life. That's all I'm asking for. Sometimes a little excessive. I'm like, I don't feel like Superman would have just stood over him and just kept pounding on this guy. Right, but
yeah, he kind of ground and pounded.
Yeah, I was like, all right, like, Superman, take it easy. Like, Jesus Christ.
Ground and pounded him and then shot him with fucking laser beam.
Yeah, I was like, is this bring it down? Bring it down. I love it, but just you need to just calm down a little bit. So I'm a sucker for a great Superman moment, right? Like, and that's why, like, I will, as much as I think these movies are very mediocre, I like Man of Steel. Cause, like, you can say whatever you want about that ending. I enjoyed the shit out of it. Like, I enjoy watching those guys tussle. It was fun.
It seems like he knows that Superman is your big gun, right? He knows that Superman is OP.
He doesn't overuse him.
Doesn't overuse him.
Yeah.
So that when Superman so that when you get the fight scene in the middle of Superman fighting, like, where am I? Oh, your heartbeat is racing. I'm gonna give it something to race for. And
they beat the brakes off Aquaman this whole movie, by the way. Like, he'll get a lot of hits in too much. He's like, I'm gonna get him, and he was just like, boom, knock him out. Like, get out of here, knock it off.
and then that's it for a very, very long time, because this movie is 4 fucking hours. Yeah. But
right, they don't bring Superman in until like 2 something, like 2 hours and something,
and then he ain't back until like
3:30, right? Like, it's pretty late in the game.
But when he comes back, it's just like, fuck yes, right? And then you remember, oh yeah, well, why can't we get another Man of Steel movie? Because he would have fucking rocked it.
Yeah.
What other?
But as far as his characterization, it's not much different than the theatrical cut, right? Like, it's a couple of extended scenes overall. So you don't really get that much of a sense of him being wildly different. Like, you just don't, for better or for worse. I mean, we talked about Cyborg. I do want to go back to him just a little bit. Look, everybody was talking about, not everybody, but a lot of talk was that, Ray Fisher was going to put in this great performance, and that's why he was so upset, and, whatever racist stuff, he says happened and everything else. I'm not saying it's true or not true. I'm not saying any of that. I don't know. But like we talked about, they cut his role to shit in the theatrical. Like, they just did. The problem is a lot of it was kind of useless to the story. And with the 4 hours, there was so much that they needed to cut. I can understand why they cut his. That being said, when people talk about a black actor having their role cut and it was like a real shame because it was such a great performance, they're actually right about that. Except they got the wrong black guy. It's Joe Morton. Because Joe Morton's part's being cut because they were cut because he's Cyborg's fucking dad. That was the loss. Ray Fisher was fine. Like, he wasn't bad. He was fine. Joe Morton was delivering Papa Pope level speeches because that's what Joe Morton does. And he is out acting the script that he's given. Like, he is. That's the problem. Like, if anything, like, I actually thought, in a weird way, like, all of these superhero movies heavily focus on, like, fathers or relationships with mothers. Like, this is a commonality. Like, all of the Infinity Saga in Marvel is all about dads. If you really go back and look, it's all about sons and their fathers, or trying to live up to father figures, all of it. Like, hopefully maybe they try to do like a mother thing in the next one. I don't know. But that's a deeply held, thing throughout the MCU so far. In this one, there's that moment, again, great Superman moment, where you have both of Superman's fathers talking to him, right? They're playing lines, which was fucking beautiful. I have to admit, that was great. I call bullshit that was in the original cut. I call total bullshit that it was. I think that was absolutely added in preparation for this cut. And I'll tell you why, and I actually have no problem with it. I think it has a lot to do with, and this is the only time I'm going to talk about this, I think it has a lot to do with Snyder losing his daughter. And I think having words from your father, like, that plays different for him, is my guess. And it did. Like, even when I'm listening to the scene, I was like, I get it. Like, to hear these words from a parent who can't directly talk to their child anymore is powerful. And then for him to intercut, like, it has the most, it's one of the scenes that has the most heart in the movie. This intercut moments from Jor-El and Pa Kent, right? Like, those were just beautiful, like, parts of their speeches from their movies. And I thought that was dope. But Joe Morton, like a live dad in the movie, he was trying to communicate the same type of shit to his son. Like, if you listen to what they had spliced together between Jor-El and Pa Kent, the messaging is very similar to the messaging Joe Morton's character gives to Cyborg at the end, right? Like, this is who you can become. This is, do these things, you can be anything you want to be and stuff like that. It's the same messaging, right? So I thought it was just a shame that Joe Morton, his role got so cut in the theatrical, because I think it brought a lot of heart to the movie. So
yeah. Cyborg.
It's my birthday, by the way. That's why these giant balloons are in the back.
Cyborg's a lot of, when Cyborg is going into the visual representation of Cyborg going into, digital space or whatever, when he's just like a regular kid walking around, a lot of that felt unnecessary.
Like, I'm in Nazi Germany. Okay.
just stick to like all that. You could have, like, all of that could have been summed up, like you said, with the Joe Morton speeches. But I don't know. That's just something that, have we gone through all the characters? Because there's some things that I want to kind of.
I mean, I think that's largely everybody in the league.
Did we talk about Flash?
Oh no, we didn't. Go ahead.
Flash is largely the same. But he feels like a slightly different character in the theatrical cut when they are at that island fighting the parademons in that like cylindrical thing.
Yeah.
In the theatrical cut, he's kind of a chicken shit, right? He's just like, I'm no hero. I just kind of run around and push people out the way. And he's not like that in this. Like, he is, like, he knows that, like, I got to save people.
Right.
And
I appreciated that.
I thought it was an interesting difference.
Yep.
And at the end, it makes sense because the endings are for that character are different, right? Like,
wildly different.
Yeah, like he is doing his Speed Force thing. Like, he's an integral part of the mission, right? Like, if he can't, sustain the electrical charge or whatever he's doing when he's running around, they will fail. So he is I think a better character. At the same time, like, I still found him a bit too annoying, and all of the like weird, like, quirky dialogue that he has, that I was like, oh, well, this is obviously a Whedon line because this is stupid, right? All that's in this movie. I was legit shocked.
Yeah, you motherfuckers owe Josh Whedon an apology, not for his shithead behavior about anything else, but people were super sure that all this stuff was him. It was not. The only thing that was different was the brunch line. Everything else about Flash's personality and more was all Zack Snyder's idea and Chris Terrio's idea. It's all there.
So I found the character a little bit annoying, but he was also charming. All right, look, there's some bullshit with this movie too. There's some crap with this movie. There's a lot of wasted shots. Like,
did you think we weren't going to get to that? People are like, when are they going to be honest?
Like,
here you go.
There's a lot of like self-indulgent crap in this movie.
You wouldn't be talking about a sesame seed falling off of a hamburger bun in slow motion hitting the ground like a 2-ton boulder, would you, Micah? Because that would be a weird thing to concentrate on.
I mean, like, that is like, what? First of all, that whole scene could have been gone.
It shouldn't have made it into the theatrical, as far as I'm concerned. It shouldn't have been.
Was that in the theatrical? I'm talking about when he saves Iris and all.
Yeah, that was in the theatrical. Yeah,
it was. Are you sure?
Not. It's cut down significantly. I thought.
I don't think so, man. I think that whole dog walking scene, that whole.
I thought they did show him grab her. Maybe I'm wrong. No, I don't know.
She was not. Kiersey Clemens was not in the theatrical cut.
It's all running together at this point. It really
she was not in the theatrical cut at all. So that whole entire scene could have been done and could have been gone, right?
Should have been.
I get it. It's a character moment. It's 4 hours, yo. Like,
he's got enough character moments.
Character moments, right? and it's the whole scene was self-indulgent, right? Like here's she gets into this accident and she is flying out of the seat of her car with the most calm expression possible.
Right, her hair didn't even get messed up.
while Flash is, while time has slowed down around him, so he goes to save her, and then you see the sesame seed fall down.
Yeah, that shit was so unnecessary to me.
Just come on, man. Like you got some needle drop playing in the background. Like
the music was awful. The music was awful. And don't come for us. I'm not talking about Junkie XL's score.
I'm not talking about the score of the film.
The music.
The stupid needle drops.
They were awful.
Right? The scene where Aquaman is just walking towards the ocean and there's a song playing for 2.5 minutes and he's just walking and walking and walking and then just like it's something out of like a Coldplay music video or something.
I don't know. It's like Leonard Cohen or something, which look, Leonard Cohen or whoever it was, is fine. It just doesn't work here.
It's
just clearly Zack Snyder likes that type of music, and so he just thought it was cool to put it in. Like that's all it was.
There's a scene of some of the locals in that village that Aquaman helps just singing for like 2 minutes. 3 minutes, and I'm just like, yo, what are we doing? What are we doing?
It's like, why is this taking so long?
The music is not. I'm not a fan of. I'm not a fan of the epilogue. The entire epilogue could have been just gone. That is literally like 35 minutes that could have been gone from this movie.
Yeah, you're right. The Iris West part is not in it. I guess I've seen that clip so many times. It's just like a part of my brain at this point.
Yeah. The epilogue featuring the nightmare and all that just
it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. Martian Manhunter's in this thing for no reason. There's literally no reason for him to be in there other than to say Martian Manhunter is in there.
Also, nobody says it like that. Some call me the Martian Manhunter. That's not what you would say about yourself. Yeah, no. All right. You would give your name, dude. You would give your name. Thank you. That's the name you would give.
My name is former UFC champion John Johns.
Like, oh. Also like this was clearly added in. This was clearly added in with the $70 million. It's clearly added in, right? Because they were like, we didn't shoot any new scenes except for stuff with CGI. I'm like, that's why all of this shit basically was CGI. Because Ben Affleck looks significantly smaller than he does in the entire movie. Yeah. This is all bullshit. I'm not buying it. Yeah, like
what else? Look, the slow-mo. It's a Zack Snyder staple.
It's too much.
Like on the one hand, like I shouldn't be upset, but on the other hand, screw you, I am, because you can't have. I don't think it makes sense to have stylized slow motion in your movie where you have a speedster that you visualize speed from that speedster's perspective.
Yep.
Because that's more slow motion. Like if I was someone who wasn't paying attention, I would be like, well, is everybody that fast? Like, why is there slow motion when the Flash is not around, and slow motion when the Flash is around, and slow motion when the Flash is not running?
Right.
And when it's too much slow-mo, man. And look,
well, the first like 30, 40 minutes, it's like, yo, how many scenes are going to be in slow motion? Like, yeah, I see why it's almost 4 hours, or it is more than 4 hours.
Right. Like, does Lois Lane really need a shot to linger on her for 15 seconds? Just of her looking at at whatever? I don't know. But that's just a thing that Zack Snyder does.
And it works. It can work sparingly. You know where it works really well? Watchmen. It works incredibly well. The opening sequence of Watchmen is amazing, right? Like as time is passing, them showing, the original Watchmen, and then, like the newer Watchmen and stuff like that. Like, those moments work. It doesn't need to happen every 5 to 10 minutes in the first 40 minutes. There's at least like 10 plus times he uses slow-mo. It's ridiculous. Can we talk about the nightmare scenario for a second? Given the proper work, Leto could have been a good Joker. He could have been. He had nothing to work with. And this scene shows it, right? Not that he has nothing to work with. Like, this dialogue between the two of them, between Batman and Joker, is actually not bad. It's pretty good. The problem is, what are we even looking at? What are we even fucking looking at?
Why do I care?
What, like, he said that the Nightmare movie was supposed to be the second movie. How? If Apocalypse comes and all of this happens, this inferred that fucking Aquaman is dead. And I assume, since Wonder Woman isn't around, she's dead too. So what is the League after this? Batman is running around with the Joker and Deathstroke and Cyborg and Power Rangered up the Flash. Like, what are we even talking about? Look, people, this hashtag, restore the Snyderverse. I used to be against it.
Yeah.
I used to be against it. I was. I'm no longer against it. You know why? I think they should do it. But here's my caveat. You can have the Snyderverse back. Here's what you need to do. It needs to be called Injustice, and it needs to be considered a out of canon Elseworld story. Let Zack Snyder go to work. And just know that this is a different world. This is another part of the multiverse. And then you can show Ezra Miller's Flash that we know from the normal part of the universe, run through this universe and be like, oh, that's weird, and meet up with the robot Flash or whatever. And then they show the regular universe. This can be its own thing. It's fine. But this should not be anywhere close to the mainstream. It's dumb. It doesn't make sense. How could you do anything after this? Like,
I mean, it
doesn't make
screams
sense.
Of like edgelord BS, right?
I mean,
like,
Injustice kind of is. I mean, it's Mortal Kombat. Like, I mean, it kind of is.
Look, I don't.
And I like it.
Injustice story. I think it's a cool subversion. The problem, the thing about it though, is that we're playing with characters that everyone already knows. And yes, technically we already know these characters in these movies, but not
everybody knows that.
Like in the world that you have established, you haven't earned that. You haven't earned Injustice.
Right. You have to know who Deathstroke is and his complete history with Batman to see the two of them fighting alongside each other, the significance of that. Like, yeah, man, there's no significance of it. We just saw him 3 minutes before this scene for the first time. Hey, maybe we should start our own league. Yeah. Oh, let's go to the nightmare scenario. What? Like, cool. I'm glad he shot this new, right? This whole scene is all shot new. That's all fine. But what was the point of it? What was the point of it? It doesn't make any sense.
You know what the point of it was. It was for him to be like, see, I would have done this, but they won't let me. And now it's to get his fan base riled up so that perhaps they can whine loud enough to restore the Snyderverse or whatever.
I'm telling you, do it, but make it Injustice and just let him have it. That's fine. Just let him have it. All you have to do is use the Flash as a way to establish that this is not the in-canon universe. That's all you have to do. Oh, that world is crazy. Anyway, back to me going around chasing hot dogs in slow motion. Like, yeah, dude, that's a real thing in this movie, is that he couldn't keep his hands off a glitzy long enough to save his future girlfriend. He had to get a hot dog for a dog. She was so silly. So yeah, this is it's fine. It's fine.
But overall,
it's fine.
Overall, if you thought the theatrical cut was fine, you will enjoy this. It's too long.
It's way too long.
But you will enjoy it if you think the theatrical cut is okay. Right. If you don't like the theatrical cut, don't watch this.
Right. There's barely a difference.
The story is the same. It's just drawn out, right? But if you didn't like it, don't watch it. If you think that this version is worse than the theatrical cut, you're crazy.
No, that's simply not true.
Right. That's just wrong.
Yeah, that's patently wrong.
This is a better version of what this could ever be. But would I recommend this to people? I don't know if I would.
I would recommend it to people who like the theatrical cut. Like if you thought it was like,
and I mean, you really gotta you gotta be curious about this thing too, because this is a 4-hour time commitment.
Yeah.
Like, and we keep saying that, like, but like that's a thing, man. Like,
yeah, it's significant.
And unless you're one of those people that can, I'm not one of those people that can just watch a movie, stop for a day, come back the next day, and finish. I can't do that.
No.
Like, I'm just not built like that. But this thing could have been. They should have broke this up. They should have broken this up.
Yeah,
should have broken this up into. They broke it up into chapters. They could have broken this thing up. I think it would have been paced really well. I see some people and they're like, "Oh, but the 4 hours flies by." No, it doesn't.
Nigga, I was up at 6 a.m. No, it don't. I started
this thing at 9 o'clock, and I didn't finish till 1:30. So I had to take a couple piss breaks. So
it flies by. It does not. That is a lie. Come on. No, it does not fly by. But it's just, in a way, I almost wish I hadn't watched the theatrical cut, not because it painted me a certain way. It's the same movie.
Yeah, like if I'd have saw this, I think I would be slightly. No, maybe not. But
I just feel like I just sat through the theatrical cut with extended scenes that I saw, because that's what this movie is. It's not wildly different. It's not.
If for some reason you have never seen either of these,
yeah, just watch the 4-hour cut then.
Just watch the 4-hour cut. If you can find the time. But yeah, I think that's it. Look, there's other stuff. There's
plenty. There's plenty to nitpick. Like Willem Dafoe's wig, it was horrible. It was like he looks so much better in Aquaman. It's crazy. But the other thing I was just gonna say is I will end it on a quote that one of our listeners, Charlie, put up on his Facebook page, where he was paraphrasing a quote by Zack Snyder. I don't know how much of my movie Joss Whedon used, and his answer was, "Nigga, all of it." like it's all there, yo. It's not a wild divergence from the 4-hour cut. It really isn't. Like, if you're going in thinking this is going to be a massive overhaul, I saw people tweeting, last week, I don't see how you could possibly think that this is going to be the same movie with 2 extra hours. And I'm like, I don't see how you think that it isn't.
You know why? Because they don't understand that the structure of the story is the same between both cuts, right?
Yes, it has to be.
The plotting is different, right?
It's only a little different.
Well, look, when they're resurrecting Superman, there was a big thing in the theatrical cut. Wonder Woman is like, this is ethically wrong.
Yes, that part gets cut out, which is weird.
And in this cut, Wonder Woman is DTF, right? She is down to free Superman from his from his eternal slumber, right? At the end fight, which I actually really liked in the Snyder cut.
It's pretty good. It's pretty
the action of the end fight. It was fun. That's all I want. I want fun.
By the way, side note, totally stole that moment from Age of Ultron where they all like do the slow motion freeze in mid action. Yeah, I was like, okay, because I saw DC fans be like, oh, they stole this. WandaVision stole this from Snyder. They stole that shit directly from Age of Ultron, but it's fine. I'm not mad about it. It's a cool scene.
It's art, yo.
Yeah, it's a cool scene. Who cares?
Like everybody steals from everybody. It's
right.
art.
Right.
All you motherfuckers who love Quentin Tarantino, literally everything he's ever done has been taken from someone.
Yeah, they're constant homages. Like it's fine. Right. Go ahead.
The last fight. The action scenes in the Snyder cut, I did enjoy. The ending is different. Not different, but how you get there. The action that's going on is different. And I think that's what people are confusing for story, right?
That is not the story.
It doesn't make sense to me. But people are equating, okay, well, Superman and Flash flew to get those people away, to save those people. And in this movie, they didn't do that because those people weren't around. Those people didn't exist.
Right.
So this is a different movie. What? No, yo. The structure of the story is the same. How you get there is what's different. Instead of taking a shortcut through some fucking trees and bushes and shit just to try and get to the end, they took the long way. They took the scenic route.
Yeah. Twice as long. Incidentally. Too long. Yeah. It's not a different movie. Like I feel like if you gave the theatrical cut because you were like a big, you're a big DC fan or you're a big Snyder fan and you like what he's done with the other movies, for better or for worse. I'm not judging at all. And you were like, you know what? Things were changed, but I saw what he was trying to do and I liked it. Then you'll like this. Like you will, because it's his vision. Like it is an unabashedly Zack Snyder movie. But if you hated the theatrical cut, I cannot imagine how you turn around and be like, this is amazing. It's not different. It's just not. It's a couple of scenes that are just like stretched out, stretch them out. Like if you stretch out every scene by 3 minutes, you'll get to 4 hours. It's pretty easy, right? Like it's not hard, and since some scenes have like women on the shore just, wailing, for like what feels like forever. Like
if you didn't like that theatrical cut and turn around and like this, that's how you know that you found one of the members of the cult, right? Like one of the members of the people who they just on board. You found one of them, because this movie is not wildly different. It's more of what you got. It's more of what was in the first.
Yeah, because I'm watching this movie. I'm like that. Like all of this is in the movie, is in the theatrical cut. Like, sure, it doesn't start out with the cell phone, recording a Superman, which, his face looked messed up. That's like a digital thing. But that scene of humanizing Superman was pretty good. Like, I thought that, like, because they were trying to aim the movie at kids, like, which this movie does not. Like, it doesn't. There's one kid who says something like, I want to grow up to be just like you. Thanks, Wonder Woman, who just murdered a guy in front of me. Whatever. Right. Like, that's a little weird. Like, it's a bit tone deaf. I want to make a guy into dust so his hat falls out of a building and nothing else. I want to be just like you, Wonder Woman. In reality, kids would be like, holy shit, Wonder Woman is a fucking murderer and this is terrifying. I just saw a guy get evaporated. Like, no, but they're like, yay! Like, that's weird. It's weird. So, it's better than the theatrical, without a doubt. That does not, in my opinion, make it a good movie. Far from it. So, So, I guess we're moving on to release or restore the Snyderverse. That's the next hashtag that'll get pushed up by bots, and then people will think it's real too.